Yes. Namaste. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Gerald Peters. Most of you know I'm the author of a book, You Don't Have to Die Broke. I give away that book free as an ebook, and of a trading strategy called the Money Flow Trading System. And I have all kinds of archived training videos on here of stock trading. It's my passion, trading stocks and investing in real estate. And what my goal is here is to share that. See, it's to share my love for investing and my love for being debt free and for financial freedom. I think at the core, all of us, no matter what it is you do for a living or what it is you're trying to accomplish in life, at the core of that concept has to be this idea of you being financially free. And that might look different for you than it looks for me. We both might have different goals or different aspirations or different dreams. There's something that you want to do that I probably don't want to do, but we can both get to where we're going through financial freedom. Whatever it is you're trying to do. And I would encourage you, and this is cliche and it's silly, but this idea of thinking bigger, that was one of the early mistakes for me. Now, to give myself a little slack, when I look back, you got to understand, I grew up really poor, raised by a single mom, until my stepdad came in. We were hand to mouth, rent's due, we got to move, that kind of thing. And so my family was never rich, and I went to the Army, and this is through that process. I didn't go to college. I don't have any degrees. I don't have any certifications. I've gotten to where I've gotten now, being financially free through my mind, through self-study, through personal development, through becoming obsessed with investing. And I would meet people who were a lot more qualified and smarter, and they're making more money than me. The most I ever made at a job was $12.50. And so getting out of I went to the Army after high school, and I'd been in the Army for almost, 7 years, went to Iraq and all that kind of stuff, in Bosnia. And so I saw a lot of the world. I saw a lot of poverty. I've seen a lot of wealth. And I met a lot of good dudes who instilled in me work ethic, something I didn't necessarily have when I was younger. I had that hustle drive, and I had this idea. I like to make money, but I would spend it, and like a lot of you, I like to party. A lot of things that I like to do weren't necessarily positive or constructive for me. And this journey that we all go on, and the faster you can get on it, the better. It's just hard for the young brain to get this. And often when the old brain gets it, it almost feels like it's too late. I had a lady yesterday ask me, I'm 40 years old, should I bother investing in dividend stocks? And it's like, yes, get off your ass and get on it. No fucking excuses. You're not investing for the future. You're investing for right fucking now. So what are you saying? Should I keep my money now? Yes. Damn. Of course you should keep your money now. And of course you should get it making money. Yes, get on that shit. No more excuses, it's easy nowadays. None of you have any fucking excuses for not investing, for not seeing how bad debt is, how stupid making car payments and credit card debt and all that. It's stupid. You have to come to realize that. Why am I doing this? And it's not some Dave Ramsey thing where I'm trying to beat you over the head. I get it. There's a time and a place sometimes for debt, but damn it, there has to be a time and a place for you. And one of the great advantages we have over animals, you hear these birds and shit, it's getting to be spring. You can fucking train yourself. That bird is stuck in his fucking reality, not you. So I've been doing this free e-course called the17steps.com, where we're working through my favorite book. I've read it hundreds of times. I read it all the time. I reread most of chapter 4 today because we're on step 4. And if you get on that, I send you a free ebook of the book and just kind of my thoughts and some videos on it. And today, as I was studying on it and contemplating on it, and we're in chapter 4, and chapter 4 is entitled The First Principle to the Process of Getting Rich, and it's talking about thought. Well, the thing about thought is you can train yourself. And let me read this to you. This is super important. You also don't have to accept your reality. In this book, in chapter 4, it gets a little heavy. It's talking about formless substance and that's the universe and where God is. And and all of these, Buddha and Muhammad and Jesus, they all said very similar things, that you have creative power, that you can connect with the principal source, or what the book calls formless source. And you may say, well, I'm not religious. Okay, dude, but listen, you don't have to be religious. If you do things in a certain fucking way, you get a certain fucking outcome. Meaning, if you go to the gym every fucking day, at 5 fucking days a week, guess what happens in about a year? You get in pretty good shape. The shit's not complicated. And so if you begin to do things in a certain fucking way, and that's what the book talks about, and you do that consistently, you will have certain fucking outcomes. And that's what the book talks about. Chapter 2 says there is a blueprint. Meaning anything you want to do in life, someone else has already done it. Go blueprint it. But what you don't want to do is say, well, I want to be like Elon Musk. That's a fucking unicorn. But you could invest along with Elon Musk, right? You could find people who made a fortune investing in companies like it. But the chances of you going out and starting PayPal or starting Tesla is pretty slim. And if you have it in you, you have it in you. But that's very few of us. I'm just not that smart. So that's not something I can do. And it isn't going to help me to sit around and pretend like I could do it when I know I'm not good at science. I'm not good at math. I'm not a fucking engineer. So that's not a reality for me, right? But I could own a restaurant. I could be a good delivery guy. I could, but see, there's other things I can do. And then I can take my time, treasure, talent, and leverage that through actual things. And so for me, it was real estate. And so I went out and I bought house after house after house after house. Why? Because it was a repeatable blueprint. I could train my fucking brain to follow that process. And I looked and I'm like, this idiot did it. I can do it. And so I had to change my life. I had to begin to change the way. But in order for me to get there, before I had one house, here's what I decided. If I would get 10 houses, I will be a millionaire. There you go. I don't need to think about anything else. So when that guy wrote it down, and you may have heard me say this story multiple times, and he mapped out, you need to put 20% down, try to find a house undervalued, try to find a house you can fix up, blah, blah, blah. That's your blueprint. Now go do that 10 times. He gave me the blueprint. Now it's up to me to hold thought in formless substance. And let me explain to you what that means. Hope I saved it. All right. A man's way of doing things is the direct result of the way he thinks about things. To do things in a way that you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step toward getting rich. To think what you want to think is truth, regardless of appearance. Meaning, I don't have any houses right now. I don't have any experience at having houses right now, right? But what can I do? Okay, well, what is the blueprint? So I can go look what someone else did and back it up. Not some fucking bullshit guru selling you some bullshit course. I'm talking about real fucking people like me, real fucking normal people who did what you're trying to do. Go ask that guy. Go look. What did you do? I tell it all the time. Get your fucking credit right. You're not going to buy a house with bad fucking credit. Boom, there's step one. Get your credit right. You're right. All right, I got that. Check. Cool. What's next? Okay, I need to open a sacred account to put money in because I need money for the 20% down. And now your life becomes holding thought in formless substance. I need to get 20% down. Every day I need to get 20% down. You fucking mumble this shit. You walk around thinking I need to get 20%. That's how you attract it to you. It becomes a fucking obsession. And you're like, I don't have it right now. Appearances, you have to remove yourself from your circumstances and see what the fuck it is you want. I want this money for a down payment. And guess what? This is laborious. The reason people can't do this is reality steps in. The world, family, friends, their job just fucks and pushes on them. And life will push on you. And it's hard. So listen to this. Every man has the natural inherent power to think what he wants to think. But it requires far more effort to do that. To do so than it does to think the thoughts which are suggested by appearance, by school, by your parents, by your friends, reality. See, you have to be able to think outside of reality and not one fucking time. You have to hold it day after fucking day after fucking day. That is the labor. To think to appearances is easy. In other words, to succumb to your circumstances. Oh, I'm being held down. Oh, people like me can't get ahead. Fuck that. You have to rise outside of that, right? You have to begin to think. Some people are going to start to think you're a little fucking crazy. Wow, you're a big dreamer. You got big ideas. Don't you know where you come from? People like us don't do that. No. Fuck those people. You need to block those people out. I don't give a fuck who they are. And you need to hold and train yourself and hold thought and formless substance. And the shit is laborious. It's laborious. Listen, there is no labor from which people shrink as they do from sustained and consecutive thought. It is the hardest work in the world. Not engineering, not being a scientist. That isn't as hard as holding a single thought. Holding a thought in your mind that is not fucking reality. You're a parent, you're like, well, I'm a single mom, I can't do that. I know. So what would be fucking hard is holding a thought that you actually can. And holding it day after fucking day after fucking day after fucking day. And that takes willpower. And later in the book, there's a whole chapter on it. Meaning these are things you have to work on. It's not gonna just sit in your mind. And so if you wanna be XYZ, a writer, a whatever, start this business, do that, be a trader, whatever, you're going to have to train your mind. And your circumstances aren't going to give evidence to it. And so if you go around just chasing what's easy, well, I guess this is what I'll do. I won't do anything else. No, you have to think bigger than that. You have to think some shit is kind of unreasonable. And again, not starting Tesla, right? That's not reasonable. That's not even fucking possible for most people. But there's all kinds of other ways. There's all kinds of other things around that industry that I'm probably not even thinking of, right? There could be podcasts and newsletters. There's so many ways to make money in this world. It's fucking mind-boggling, okay? And as you begin to hold that thought in formless substance, what happens is the universe comes around. The book goes on to talk about it. Get on my 17steps.com. The universe comes around to what? To confirm the thought you've been holding. Meaning people begin to show up in your life that all of a sudden that thought you've been holding, they show up to give it to you. See, the universe or God or whatever you want to call it answers prayers through other people. He gives ideas. He doesn't give money, but he can give people. All of the money you want is in the pockets, purses, wallets, credit cards, checkbooks of other people. Other people have what you need. And through other people is how prayers and manifestation happens. So you can't cut off other people. You have to be in constant communication. You want lots of networks and lots of friends. You don't want to walk around being an asshole or a dick or a person that's rude or thinks you're above everybody else. That's not you. This is the whole point behind it's better to be a giver than a receiver, because through being a giver is how you actually fucking receive. It's how you actually receive. It's how you open up opportunity for yourself by being the giver, because then that opens up doors for you. And holding this thought of the thing you want to be, I mean, day after day, fucking day after day after day. And what happens? It causes your body to have to begin to take actions to prove the shit you're saying. So if you walk around saying, I'm a runner, I'm a runner, I'm a runner, I'm a runner, you're not doing any running, your body, your life becomes a lie. And that shit becomes uncomfortable, and your body doesn't want to live that way. And so it begins to want to give evidence to the shit you're thinking. And so as you think it, you naturally begin to take steps toward it. And the universe naturally begins to bring people that help support the thing that you're holding in your mind. And you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that happened. No, it was supposed to happen. You were holding that thought. By that person showing up, you answered their prayers, they answered yours. But it takes sustained thought. You have to stay on that shit for months. I get people all the time. They want to invest in the stock market. They buy my book, The Money Flow. They come in to trade with me. Within 90 fucking days, we've lost their interest. They can't go 3 fucking months and hold that thought. 3 fucking months. And if they're not making money and it ain't doing what they're supposed to do, bam, they're off to the next thing. They can't go 90 fucking consecutive days holding that thought. 90 days. Most people can't do 90 fucking days. Join a gym, can't do it 90 days. They quit. Start trying, I don't want to smoke. Can't go 90 days. Most things in their life listen, you have quit everything you've ever started. Every person, every game, every new hobby, every new activity, every new job, every get rich, everything you've ever joined, you quit. That's most people. Most things you start, you quit. It takes sustained thought. Is the most laborious thing of all to continue to hold to that. And one of the great examples of this is Nelson Mandela. He's in fucking prison. The government put his ass in prison. How do you come out of prison and be president, right? Sustained thought. He never stopped. He never gave up. He kept writing, pushing, putting out stuff, he just kept on and on and on and on relentlessly. And the moment you do that and you settle it, and this is one of the things I tell people, you want to be a good trader, you want to be a good real estate investor, the moment you start, it's forever. There is no end date. There is no fucking accomplishment. There is no this. There is no like I made it or I arrived. It's from here forever. You're doing this now forever. The moment you begin to say, well, I exercise to live. I don't exercise. I'm not trying to get any, I'm just doing it because that's what I do. You guess what? You become incredibly healthy. Or I play the piano because I'm a piano player. All of a sudden, piano is just part of your life and it gets easier where other people are having to try. They're having to practice. You don't have to try or practice. It's a natural extension of who you are. So I am a stock trader. I don't need fucking encouragement. I don't need a fucking book to encourage me to get up and trade the markets. I am a stock trader. It's what I do until the day I die. And the moment I settle that, guess what? I'm going to have ups and downs. That's life. When you're a real estate investor, what? You're going to have ups and downs. Right? Shit's gonna have to be fixed. Storms are gonna come. Shit. Guess what? Next year I'm gonna have a fucking tragedy. And the year after that I'm gonna have a fucking tragedy. And the year after that I'm gonna have a fucking tragedy. Right? So I can't live my life trying to avoid some shit I know it's gonna happen. What do? I gotta prepare for it. When you own as many houses as I do, many stocks as I do, guess what? Tragedies and events and bad shit happens all the time. That's just part of the game. Bring that shit on, man. Hold that thought and